Sacramento's local PEG channels give our community a voice. They support public access, local programming, school media programs, and future creators, filmmakers, and broadcasters. But that funding is now at risk. Take action today. Go to accesssacramento.org and click the link to email the Sacramento Cable Commission. Tell them, stop the funding cuts and protect local community media.
The money is there. The issue that we have with the Cable Commission is that they're projecting that there's a cliff and the money is going to go away very quickly. They want to cut us off immediately.
If we lose funding, all of the programs that I just talked about completely go away. So there are over 100 teachers in the county that teach some form of media education and that depend on us for either equipment, training, support.
These are voices that wouldn't get a platform anywhere else. Yeah. That's the kind of show that nobody else would be able to do. We're able to support the folks who are behind that. That's what would go away if we get defunded.
That's their money. That's the user's money. This commission is using that money without their input. What we asked for is an open public forum where they could listen to people talk about what the impact of defunding us or cutting our budget would actually have on them, either personally or in the community.
Welcome to the Powerhouse Podcast, presented to you by Sac Life TV.
Hello, I'm Topo Padilla, your host of the Powerhouse Podcast. Today I've got a really something special I'm going to do. I'm going to interview 3 people at once. And the reason is it's critically important that they get the word out and we educate you, the public, about what local programming means and something called a PEG station, which is Public Education and Government. And you're going to learn more about it. So I'm real honored to have the 3 of you here. So Aaron, we'll start with you.
Yeah, thank you. So Sacramento Educational Cable Consortium provides media training, education services, and production services and equipment to teachers from K through 12 plus their students in all of Sacramento County. So what we're doing is helping create future filmmakers, content creators, media professionals, and journalists in the process. We also then put a lot of that content up on 2 public access channels, which is how we all started. That's educational content. It's made for young people, adult learners, and that's how it was first started, and that's been our focus ever since, is the educational component.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
And Joe, you have something to tell about this whole thing and really and truly what this conversation's about.
The biggest thing we do is workforce development. We give people real skills through media training. So audio, podcasts, television, video, and filmmaking. We have a place called Sacramento, which is our film incubator program that we've been doing for 26 years, training filmmakers top to bottom how to make a film, everything from writing a script to makeup to set design. And then we help them to actually make films that they can take out to festivals and use in their careers. So we're giving them tangible skills, and this contributes to the creative economy of the region because our folks are going out into the world. They're working in Hollywood, they're working here in this region. And the one thing I want to mention is you talked about the PEG stations. So we are the P in the PEG. Aaron is the E, and there's a continuum, and we talked about this in our services. Aaron is focused on younger folks, students in Sacramento County. We're focused on people who are 17 and older, can run the gamut from 17 up to 70 or 80 who want to learn things and gain these skills. So there's this great overlap between what we do and a continuum for what we do that people probably don't know about.
So can you talk about Access Sacramento, specifically the studio, where we do this?
We're doing this from a place called the Coloma Center here in Sacramento. And this is a community facility. It's a city facility. We've been here for 40 years. We're the biggest tenant here. And one other factor in this conversation about us being potentially defunded is that Access Sacramento is the biggest tenant in this facility. If we go away, it could cripple the Coloma Center. There would be ramifications beyond just us going away. There's a wider impact to the funding cuts that the Commission is considering that they apparently haven't thought about. And this is one of them. This facility could go away if Access Sacramento goes away.
And I'll just tell you, somebody who's been in this studio now for over 2 years as a guest on a podcast and now as a host, I will tell you, it's really hit me in the heart. So I really, this is something that's very, very important to me. I'm taking it real personal. So, Ron.
I'll try and keep it short.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so they have each of us as a PEG station manager have our own place in the community. One thing that Joe forgot to mention, not only they teach, but on his station, people in the community that want to put something on television can come here and do that. So he's got all sorts of programming on there, whether it's a music video or a cooking show or whatever, that's what he has for the community. On our side of it, Sac Life TV, we've devoted ourselves. We started off as a faith-based station, one of only 2 PEG stations in the entire country. We're kind of grandfather claused in, but we've grown out of the faith. We're still in the faith, but we've grown from there. I consider us, we've rebranded ourselves as the inspiration station. We are the cornucopia of information that comes right here to Sacramento. If you're tired of the ABC, CBS, and alphabet soup of bad news that's nationally and internationally, and you just want to know what's going on right here in our community, you'll come to Sac Live TV. We produce basically our faith-based programming. If you're looking for a faith home, we have our community spotlight, which goes out and puts a light on our nonprofits, the ones that don't get the attention they should, so you, the public, can know where you could put your money or where you could serve and how it's serving the community. We have a show coming out called Capital Cold Case, which is basically with all our law enforcement in the Sacramento region trying to close cold cases and give closure to families and a little money for those that would help out with that as a reward. And finally, our flagship is the Powerhouse podcast right here. And we've had subject matters over the last 3 years. Holman and the border issues. We've talked about homelessness. We've talked about drug addiction. We've talked about mental health. We've talked about everything under the sun in regards to trafficking, which actually we have a show that's up for a local Emmy for our trafficking show. And finally, if it wasn't for this studio and what is going on with the commission and money's coming in, this show could be cut. This could be our last show.
And, just to add to that, these are voices that wouldn't get a platform anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so there's everything that Ron mentioned and the shows that Access Sacramento is supporting, including one that we've just launched. It's a show for the Sacramento's Afghan community, speaking to them, for them, information for them. That's the kind of show that nobody else would be able to do. We're able to support the folks who are behind that. That's what would go away if we get defunded.
Yeah, so now that you've got the bits of each of our pieces of the puzzle that serve this community, let's talk about what's happening and how it may not be here much longer.
So let's talk about that. And let's talk about what's going to happen if funding is cut. And I want to start with you, because without you, we're not here.
This is one thing that people probably don't realize. We are in an era when government is, there are deficits, a lot of cuts going on. This is a different situation because the money is there. There is still this pipeline of money that you mentioned from the cable fees that people pay, that part of that comes to us. The problem is it is diminishing over time because of cord cutting. So thank you for keeping your cable subscription. But it is diminishing over time. The issue that we have with the Cable Commission is that they're projecting that there's a cliff and the money is going to go away very quickly. We have our own projections that show that's not going to happen. And all we want is a runway for our organizations to become self-sustaining. A year, 2 years. That's what we've asked for. They want to cut us off immediately, and not only that, take the money and put it into their government channel, the G of the PEG. Mm-hmm. They want to put the money into that. Cutting off the community voices in favor of the government voice without a public hearing, public discourse.
I want to go there, and then I'm going to get to the two of you. I want to go there. Talk about that G, the other channel.
It's called Metro 14, and it broadcasts the government meetings. So you can see city council meetings, county supervisor meetings. It's connecting people to government. You can watch the meetings. So we need that. So we're not saying that should go away in favor of us. We're saying there's a better way forward to fund all of us. We just want to have that conversation. The commission will not engage us in that conversation. They keep moving down the path to defunding us.
Well, and here's the other part of that too is the G channel has twice the budget that all of the rest of the access channels have combined. And so we're being expected to work with less. They are not. We're expected to be more efficient. they are not. So that's where a lot of the inequities in this whole situation come about from that standpoint. So if we lose funding, all of the programs that I just talked about completely go away. So there are over 100 teachers in the county that teach some form of media education and that depend on us for either equipment, training, support. The County Office of Education depends on us to produce a lot of the content that they put out there, even their Teacher of the Year. 40 plus graduations this year are going to be on our channel that we're either live streaming or we're helping produce. If we go away, they're going to have to figure it out.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I want to, you just said, I did not know that.
Yeah, most people don't.
That graduations are able to be put on your channel and watched. And for maybe somebody who doesn't live in the community or, didn't make it, or you only get 8 tickets to the graduation.
Just it. Right.
Wow.
So they can watch our channels and they can see those graduation ceremonies. And we have a young guy with us that talks about the fact that his mom was in the hospital when he graduated from high school. And if it wouldn't have been on our channel, she would have not seen him graduate.
I was at one of the meetings down at the Board of Supervisors. I was there, sat there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I listened to those stories. I looked at the number of teachers. I looked at the students that were there. I heard those stories. Man, those are real. Those aren't. And people might not think, when schools' budgets are being cut and all this and that, well, let's just go ahead and get rid of this. However, this can help educate people. And I'm hoping that this helps educate the people that are on the Cable Commission, the leaders that put people on the Cable Commission, and others in government, so that you will understand and you'll watch this and you'll actually hear the content of what these gentlemen are sharing with you to help you make a better decision rather than just a line item. Let's just get rid of these guys. We really don't need this. If you don't know what they're doing, how can you really and truly just say, put a line through it, get rid of it, and move on? So, Ron, on to you. What happens if?
Well, another thing too, but if we just give everything to the government station, it's no longer PEG, it's G. So we're basically not a PEG committee anymore. The Cable Commission is basically going to be overseeing a government station, and we're out. We've been broadcasting since 1988. I've been here 17 years, and this isn't, and if you looked at my salary, everyone on our staff, we have a very budgeted staff, and we can't afford retirement or medical, so everybody on our team are subcontractors, even myself. We also have another show that we're working on. It'll be released later on in the year. It's called Operation PTSD. I have a friend at the Capitol who worked at the Veterans Administration, Cindy Baldwin, and she came to me and said, our veterans aren't getting the care that they need. What can you do? Cable Commission was able to grant us money through a petition I put in. That's how we get our funding. And we took that money. We created this program that hasn't been released yet called Operation PTSD. It's a reality show going in, seeing how our veterans are not being taken care of the way they should. And we follow them. It's a reality show through a camp and show how they are getting help and treatment. And then we turn around and through the show, tell the community how you can look for signs of PTSD as well as how you can find help. It's these kind of shows that are funded from the Cable Commission. All this stuff goes away if we get defunded.
Well, and Topo, just to add to that, the equation is off here. We're talking about the totality of what we do, the impact we have, the workforce training, giving people opportunities, allowing them to experience the real world of working in a TV studio, producing audio, producing film. That has an impact. That's given people career paths, definable futures that they may not have had. That's going to go away. There's the content that we put out into the world that we've discussed. All of this, and then on the other side, the Cable Commission is giving us scant consideration in terms of the impact of that going away. So I think part of what we're saying is, give us the appropriate consideration. We're not trying to say that we want to keep the old ways of doing things going. We're evolving. We know the future is less cable funding. We want to evolve, but give us the opportunity to do it and give us the proper consideration as organizations that have been serving this community for decades successfully with impact. Give us the proper consideration. Give the community the proper consideration, and they're not doing that.
The money that is being taken from your cable bill to pay these franchise fees that help support us, that's their money. That's the user's money. This commission is using that money without their input.
Yeah.
And most people don't understand that. I certainly didn't before I got into this position, but they're playing with your money and without your input. And that's what we're asking them to do, is they're making basically a policy change by defunding us in favor of the government channel without any significant public input. And the only public input anybody has is at the commission meeting to be able to make public comment restricted to their 3 minutes. What we asked for is an open public forum where they could listen to people talk about what the impact of defunding us or cutting our budget would actually have on them, either personally or in the community.
You know, and after attending that meeting down there and listen to the people that were there to talk about the educational benefits that come of this, I will promise you that every news station across this country, that there's a camera person, man or woman, there's editors, there's people in the back room that got their start in high school.
Yeah.
Maybe even in junior high, got their start there. And it was through organizations like yours and this.
I can name one right now locally.
Please fire.
Ensign Cortez. He's a reporter for KCRA. He went through a media program that was at the middle school in Elk Grove, and then went through the same program at Franklin High School in Elk Grove, went to Arizona State, graduated from there, did 2 back-to-back internships with David Muir, came back here, and immediately got a job at KCRA.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's so cool.
He's not a lone example of that. There are others.
The Sacramento region is rich in people that have made films, filmmakers, documentaries.
Creative,
if we went into that, people would go, wow. Joe, can you give us an example of somebody who's gone through your program?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many. I would say, number one, this is very personal for me because I got my start through public access. I lived in a small Rust Belt town in Pennsylvania in high school. I had no direction, didn't know what I was going to do. I found a place like Access Sacramento that got me on the path to college, to a great career in media, journalism, working for NPR, working here in Sacramento in media for many years. But what really resonates with me is I hear those kinds of stories all the time with Access. The folks here behind the cameras, the folks that you're working with, everybody's got a story that Access has done something for them and put them on a different and a lot of times better path. So that's the thing, is like, my story is one of many.
You know, I think one of the things I'm going to say to you guys, we need to tap into them, because most of those people probably got their start somewhere in the genre of what we're talking about.
If not what
today.
we're doing, then what Access Sacramento.
The most immediate thing, though, this is what I would say, and for anybody who's watching, the question is for the commission and for the executive director of the commission, why don't you want to have this conversation? Why don't you want to pull your numbers out? They've got their numbers, their projections. We've got ours. Why don't you want to have that conversation? I wonder about that, and I'm a former journalist. And when people don't want to share information with you like that, they don't want to have the conversation and engage you directly, that always gives me pause. I'm not making any assumptions about what is happening, but that just gives me pause, and I would ask the executive director, why don't you want to have the conversation?
What's been the most difficult is that even though they kept our funding in place prior 2 quarters to this, we never knew exactly if that funding was going to stay in place because they never told us. Right. So when they came into September, they kicked the can down the road to December. We didn't know between then and December what was going to happen. So December rolls around, we thought we were going to be making a presentation to show how we were going to work together. They quickly adjourned the meeting for a legal reason, and then came back out of it and completely adjourned the entire effort. Then we still didn't know what was going on. So then come this last meeting, we were actually told through several folks associated with the commission that our budget was going to remain whole, and the exact opposite happened. They cut our budget by 50%. So not only did that surprise us, in talking to some other folks on the commission, it surprised some of them. And so without any kind of understanding of what the implications of that cut were going to be, the majority of them went along with it. So now going into this next cycle, which will be revealed to us at some point on or before the 4th of June, we still don't know. And try planning a business, nonprofit or otherwise, not knowing what your fiscal situation is going to be from quarter to quarter.
So I think you've answered, but now I want to bring it out, and I'm going to ask each one of you, what do you want the viewers and the listeners, the public, to do? How can they help you?
At this point, the best thing they can do is reach out to these commissioners, to reach out to the electeds in the cities that they live in, and let them know that we want them to say, preserve our budget. Preserve the budget for all the access channels.
Joe?
Reach out, send emails, go to our websites. We each have landing pages. If you go to the accesssacramento.org site, we've got a whole page there, informational page. You click on a button, it opens up an email. It's really easy. It's pre-addressed to the commissioners and to the county supervisors. So that would be the big, they need to hear from us. And also the meeting is on June 4th at 2:30. Come to the meeting.
Yeah.
I tell you, when I went.
Yeah.
And sign up to do your comments.
Yeah. Yeah. When you get there, get there early.
We wore them down in that meeting because these meetings are usually 45 minutes, maybe an hour. 50 people showed up, took their 3 minutes, and that 45-minute, 1 hour meeting went 4.5 hours. They got to the point where they just barely had a quorum to call the meeting because their commissioners kept cycling out because I don't think they expected that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If people don't think when these legislators or board of supervisors, city councils, their phones ring, it gets their attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it should. That's what they're there to represent us. And they can do that, and they will. I'm telling you, if you call them, if you send them emails, if you personalize it and tell them your story, it has a huge impact. I mean, I'm good with the blanket letters, and they get a stack of them. You know, that's fine. But tell your story, and it'll have an impact.
Yeah.
Call them. They are, I got to tell you, people might not know this. You can literally, when I meet legislators or board of supervisors, I was with Rosario Rodriguez the other night. She turned around and gave me her cell phone number. She goes, anything you need. People like that, they're my heroes. Now, Rich Desmond, they're my heroes because they truly want to hear from us. They're not saying, we'll go through my scheduler to talk to me. So definitely do it. Ron? Also,
lower thirds here, they're coming up. That's the information for the Sacramento Cable Commission, how you can email them to put your letters in, and there's also the address that you can attend that meeting June 4th. And we hope to see you all there and put in your letters. Thank you. Well, again, thank you to the three of you. You're representing a much bigger coalition. We just didn't have room in the studio. So thank you guys for being here, getting the word out. Thank you for tuning in to the Powerhouse Podcast. It's been my honor and pleasure to have you on here. And we look forward to saving and preserving local programming.
Sacramento's local PEG channels give our community a voice. They support public access, local programming, school media programs, and future creators, filmmakers, and broadcasters. But that funding is now at risk. Take action today. Go to accesssacramento.org and click the link to email the Sacramento Cable Commission. Tell them, stop the funding cuts and protect local community media.
Hi, this is Topo Padilla, and I want to thank my family at Greg Padilla Bail Bonds for sponsoring the Powerhouse Podcast. We are always involved in the community, so if you ever find yourself in need of calling a bail bonds, you can call us at 446-BOND or find us at PadillaBailBonds.com. Sac Life TV and the Powerhouse Podcast want to thank Mosley Collins for his unwavering support of our podcast that keeps people informed. If you ever need legal help, call Mosley Collins Law at 444-4444. That's all fours for legal help. Well, thanks for tuning in to the Powerhouse Podcast, where we bring you fair and balanced discussions on the issues shaping our community. We welcome your input, opposing viewpoints, and guest recommendations because every voice matters. Have a topic or a guest in mind? Email us at php@saclife.tv.